Okay, so we're going from the pastor to the scientist. Wenyuan has her Ph.D. recently, actually, right, in international studies. And she is doing research that examines the implementation and the promotion of CRT and DEI and ethnic studies and all of these. And she's studied it across 40 districts. And she's here to tell us what are the major winning strategies that she's seen. Wenyuan, thank you so much.
Good morning. Wow, Pastor, you just set the bar very high for me, and I'm gonna talk about some boring technical stuff on how to take back our public education system, because I am an optimist, or I'm naive, call me naive. I do believe that there is some saving. With that, I have some good news. Has anyone here heard about the story or the news articles about California teaching kids to chant to ask their gods and deities? How many of you? Raise your hand. My good news is that yesterday, the state of California, the California Department of Education and the California Board of Education have signed a settlement agreement in our lawsuit launched by my organization against them, challenging the constitutionality of these chants. So the state has agreed to remove the chants from their curriculum. And the state will also issue a public notice to all over 1,000 school districts across the state of California that they should not be encouraged to teach kids to chant to pagan gods. So with that being said, I'm going to go straight to my talking points. I come from a academic background of studying energy governance. So I want to make a comparison between the choice between exit and reform to the choice between renewables and fossil fuels. And that's why I say that at the beginning I am in the middle, I'm an optimist. I think that we still need to save our public education system, and I will go into how, just based on, as Mary said, my research initiative looking into school district level implementation of CRT and other CRT-rooted programs and initiatives such as DEI, critical ethnic studies, etc. And I will touch upon 3 pressure points and 2 strategies to restore and rescue our public education system from a critical race to the bottom. So to start off, the 3 pressure points are legal or administrative challenges, political campaigns, and local organizing. The 2 proven strategies are alliance building and smart evidence-based advocacy. All the experience that I'm going to share today is rooted in my own field experience as well as observations from my empirical research. So the number 1 pressure point applies especially to school districts or localities that have been completely taken over by ideologues and radicals. So in these areas, we need to identify the most egregious cases in which schools, districts, and county boards of education, or even at the state level, they violate constitutional principles of free speech and equal rights and sue them, or bring administrative challenges against these entities. So we're seeing growing number of law cases throughout the country challenging the teaching of race-based concepts, and we see that in the Clark versus Democracy PrEP case in Nevada. We did it in California and succeeded, and we also have an administrative case here in Franklin, Tennessee, right? you guys brought the first administrative civil rights challenge or complaint against the State Department of Education on a particular DEI curriculum. So we need to do that, and we need to keep doing that. The second pressure point is applicable to areas that have seen some level of hijacking or indoctrination, but are not completely subverted by the fringe far left agenda of critical race theory or critical social justice. I believe that in these areas we can mount successful and effective campaigns, political campaigns, to identify, inform, and train local and state level candidates to run for these key school board positions or state legislature positions, to help make our voices heard in these areas. All politics is local, and we need to start from bottom up. And we have already seen a lot of success stories coming out from last November's election in blue counties in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Ohio, Kansas. We're seeing anti-CRT candidates taking over, winning back these seats, and getting themselves back into the decision-making power to empower parents. Parents and community members, because we still are the primary stakeholders in our children's education. And we can win if we organize smartly, if we base our campaigns, base our organizing in sound research, in good strategies, which I will talk about in a little bit. The last pressure point applies to school districts or counties or local areas with huge potential for a parental revolt to take over, to take back control, such as Franklin, Tennessee. So what can we do in these areas? Local residents, taxpayers, moms, dads, granddads, grandmoms need to coordinate. And we need to monitor existing policies, programs, curricula in your schools, in your school districts, and to see if there are incidents or examples of indoctrination, examples of race-based treatment. And we need to participate in the local democratic process by showing up to school board meetings, giving public comments. When opportunities arise, we need to proactively engage with the decision makers, whether be it a school board member or a school district official. We need to sit them down and let them know. So all these three pressure points have two common threads. Number one, we need to raise the key of our movement is really to raise public awareness of parents, citizens, elected officials, and candidates, because this is real, and we've already established the baseline fact that we're facing an invasion of a very illiberal, un-American, and divisive ideology. And they need to know. People who are not in the field, who are not studying this, they need to know. And number two, we need to help these otherwise very decentralized actors to overcome various collective action problems by giving them information, by organizing them smartly. So so I'm going to conclude with my two self-evident and proven strategies of success. Number one, broad-based multiracial coalition building across racial, ethnic, and political lines. And we've done it in California. So in 2020, professionally, I come from a background of campaigning against race-based affirmative action. And in 2020, we won a statewide ballot measure campaign against the establishment. We won 9.65 million votes, and which equated probably 57.2% of the votes to defeat ballot measure that would have brought back racial preferences and racial discrimination in public education. And we did it by appealing to our Democratic friends, our independent friends, our friends from different racial and ethnic groups, because at the end of the day, we want very similar, simple things in life. And we're not so different. And if we're genuine, we're honest, our message will get across to the other side. Number 2, and I will wrap up my remarks, we need to root our advocacy work in smart research, informed by actual data on an ongoing day-to-day basis. And we see this in the research initiative that I am still expanding on. We take the data and we talk to our local supporters and volunteers. We let them know, hey, your district is worth saving, even though that you probably have some bad experiences dealing with the ideologues, the teachers' unions. It's not that bad. It's not completely taken over. And even if your district is rated 0 in my database, which means that it has been completely hijacked by the other side, help us identify these violations in your children's classroom. Tell us your stories, share with us, and we can help you fight. So with that being said, there is hope, and I look forward to working together with this impressive group. Thank you very much for having me.